When it comes to building teams, leaders usually get the basics right. They hire capable people, they set direction, they clarify roles, and all of that matters. But in 3 decades of coaching executives, physicians, and senior leaders, I've seen one mistake more than any other. And it's not about hiring the wrong person or failing to define the strategy. Hi, I'm Carl Piester. I'm an executive coach and founder of the Coaching Group. I've worked with senior leaders across industries, helping them build real teams, not just a collection of high achievers. And note the difference there. Building real teams is not just a collection of high achievers. And what I've seen again and again is this. The best teams don't run on talent alone. They run on trust. So, why leaders default to skills? It's easy to understand. Skills are visible. Resumes, credentials, certifications, they look impressive. And many times they are. Performance metrics are measurable. And when the pressure is high, it feels safe to build your team around technical brilliance. But here's the danger. When leaders build on skills alone, they often confuse talent with teamwork. Talent is confused with teamwork. I've coached more than one leader who built a group of highly skilled individuals, only to discover that the group didn't function like a team at all. On paper, they had phenomenal horsepower. They had all the horsepower to succeed. But in practice, they stalled out, fractured, or burned out. Why? Because they ignored trust. Now, warm fuzzies, trust and holding hands and singing Kumbaya, that's usually what I get when I talk about trust with people. But let me tell you why trust matters more than talent. Skills will get you started. Trust will determine how far you can go. Without trust, people protect themselves instead of sharing openly. Conflict turns personal or gets avoided altogether. Meetings get longer, but decisions get slower. Politics creep in, and collaboration shrinks. So, with trust, people offer their best ideas, not just the safe ones. Conflict sharpens thinking without damaging relationships. Let's hit that one again because that's huge. Conflict sharpens thinking without damaging relationships. Decisions come faster because people don't question motives. They extend good intent. That is huge. Teams move with energy, not with obligation. That's the difference between a group of highly skilled individuals and a true team. Patrick Lencioni put it well in the 5 dysfunctions of a team. Trust is the foundation. Without it, nothing else works. If you want another book that absolutely backs this up, it's The Speed of Trust by Stephen M.R. Covey. It's Stephen Covey, the famous author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's his son. So that's, if you're wanting validation on this, those 2 books, Lecciones and The Speed of Trust is huge. Without trust, nothing else works. So how can you build trust into teams? Trust doesn't happen by accident. It's built one decision, one conversation, one consistent action at a time. Here are a few ways leaders can build it intentionally. Model it first. All transformation begins with awareness, and trust begins with you. If your team can't trust you, they won't trust each other. Every word, every follow-through, every promise kept or broken teaches them whether or not they're safe. Create safety for conflict. Teams without conflict aren't healthy. They're stuck. It's called false harmony. Trust creates a space where people can disagree without fear of retribution. Another step is clarify the purpose. People will tolerate almost anything if they understand the why. And we skip over that a lot. When your team is clear on purpose, Trust grows because motives are transparent. Next is follow through. This sounds simple, but it's where many leaders lose credibility. Every time you make a promise and deliver, you build trust. Every time you fail to follow through, you withdraw from the trust account. And unfortunately, people remember those withdrawals a little bit more, a whole lot more, than they remember the deposits. And invite feedback. Ask your team, what do you need from me to trust me more? And then, this is the hard part, listen without defending yourself. If you want to shut down feedback really fast, start being defensive when someone gives it to you. It doesn't work. So a perfect example. A great example of this was a leader with whom I worked for a couple of years. He was brilliant, a true get-it-done type of person. He was the go-to person within the organization. He had built a team around him of similar high achievers. It was amazing to work with him. The problem was that he had 10 superstars, but all of them were running within 10 different silos, since there wasn't a strong relationship between them. He started to meet with each one of them every month. He already had that in place, but this time the meetings were different. Instead of a laundry list agenda of things to do, he focused on relationship. He asked them about their well-being, their goals, not the business agenda, their agenda. Now you can imagine at first he was met with some suspicion. But listen, after a few months, things started to change. And how did they start to change? The performance had always been high, but now it was mixed in with trust. The performance had always been high, but now it was mixed in with trust. A nice warm fuzzy story? Yes, but not so much. Fast forward 2 years. I was still working with this leader. He continued to be the high performer, always data-driven. As we finished a meeting, he said, and I paraphrase, "Carl, I thought you might want to know that since I started those personal interviews that we spoke of a while back, our efficiency has increased. Our efficiencies have increased by at least 50%. True story. And this person was the antithesis of warm fuzzy. When he said the efficiency had increased, he was right because he was data-driven. So my final thoughts with you today on this important topic. The one mistake leaders make when building teams is focusing on talent at the expense of trust. Skills are important, but it's trust that multiplies them. It's the trust that multiplies them. So here's a question I leave you. What's the level of trust on your team today? Because you can teach skills, you can train technique, but if you don't build trust, you really don't have a team. You just have a group of people working in the same room. And that's not a team, and that's not leadership. Leadership is building an environment where trust runs so deep that people bring their best, challenge one another, and move forward together. Let's run over that again. Where trust runs so deep that people bring their best, they challenge one another, and move forward together. I've seen that work personally. It's not a myth. That's when a team becomes unstoppable. If this has helped you rethink how you build and lead your team, subscribe to this channel. Tap the bell so you don't miss the next episode. And if you're ready to go deeper into building a culture of trust and performance, check our website at coachinggroupinc.com. We'd love to support your team's growth. Thanks for being with us today.